Welcome to the India Joy Influencer Con 2021.
Hey guys, welcome back. We have Isha Chopra joining us today, and with great difficulty, we got a chance, time slot where she could spend some time for you influencers here. She's personally an influencer. She's an actor. She is a model. So Isha, we would love to get a lot of information from you as to what worked for you, what you really like, and how do you manage. So I would start with my first question as to how's your journey going with acting?
We just literally are coming out of COVID right now. So the journey with acting was that I'd say in the last year and a half, what happened is that um, at the moment we're all just kind of hungry for work because I just moved back to Bombay. I moved back home to my hometown in Delhi during COVID, and work started very sporadically, but it's sort of it's picking up again now. So I think that now the thing is that production houses have understood how to shoot by being mindful of COVID. Most people are vaccinated, at least in like our business. So there's also those things like that. But I think that what's interesting is that we're all different people now. I think it's fair to say that nobody is the same human that they were. So in terms of like what's happening, I'd say work is definitely starting up because a lot of writing happened during the last 2 years. A lot of development happened. I did shoot a couple of things. I shot one show called Out of Love. That was sort of in the middle of COVID, but we were away. We were in Uti. But I think now what's happening is that all the things that people had written, all the things that the shows that I gotten developed or greenlit films, those things are now sort of being cast and being, created now. So that, of course, like there's that's happening. Then that's never really in our hands. That's honestly never in an actor's hands because it's one of those very few professions that's almost entirely dependent on luck. You could be the most talented actor, you're just not lucky. It just doesn't happen. You could be, well, not I don't mean to mince my words, but you could be a terrible actor and get incredibly lucky in this business as well. But I'd say that personally, as an actor, what I'm bringing now to my work is a different human being. It's I think I'm a changed person. I have a different kind of depth in me right now, and that's what I'm trying to, bring to the work that I'm hoping to do now.
So friends who are watching this, if you have any questions for Isha, you can actually scroll through her Instagram, and if you have any questions to a specific content she has created, feel free to ask in the Q&A. I have a question. How do you manage your multiple passions in terms of writing, acting, content creation? कैसे करते हैं आप?
So I think it sounds like a lot more than it is, right? Because having different skills doesn't mean that you're occupying all of those skills at one moment of time. I was very lucky. I'm a screenwriter as well, and I was commissioned a film to write just before COVID had happened. So a lot of my time went into developing that script over the last 2 years. But manage kaise karte hain, meaning, you're aware of how much time you have. You know that you can give a project time or not. You know if you're shooting or not, so what dates you have. So the only management that I have to do is say that when I'm an actor on a set that I'm not involved in as a writer, how do I stop being a writer? And how do I just say that this is the script and it's may not be something I can agree with sometimes, but how do I put away that writer hat? In terms of time management, it's like if I asked you that, how do you manage your family and your work? I mean, there's not a very original answer that anyone can give anymore, right? Because we just do. I'm a freelancer. I never wanted to have a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday job. I always knew that. So I sort of knew that I'm the kind of person who I don't want to have the same schedule every day. I don't want to see the same people every day. That works for some people. I'm not dissing routine. But that's something that I really thrive on is change. So, kaise manage karte hain? I think it manages me more than anything else, But yeah, playing the different personalities sometimes can be interesting because And for me, my writing has made me so much better an actor. And then the same thing, like being an actor makes me much better writer. So, और Instagram और influencing तो बीच बीच में हो जाती है.
So, how much impact did your acting, have an influence in your being on social media or increase in followers in social media?
Completely. I didn't come here to, create social media content. Like that was not my purpose in my work, right? I just came here. Sorry, I'm just plugging in something in because my laptop is. So I didn't come. I was acting for years before I even had an Instagram account. I was in this film Nirja, and when the film came out, it did really. So I had a sort of following. It was building, etc., etc. Just sort of normally, and I mean, I went through the same things that anyone with an Instagram account grows. You get one more follower and you get that validation, etc., etc. I think it was my show, What the Folks, that was very popular on YouTube. And it spoke to a lot of the audience that was on social media. And so, therefore, the following started to build. I would say that that show was probably entirely responsible for the following getting built. After that, how you maintain it and how you grow it is really just up to you, how much of your personality you want to put out there. I would say that now, ever since Reels happened, it seems like things have changed a bit, because now it's become a little bit of a game and it's become a bit of a marketplace. But when I sort of became active on it, I was just enjoying it. I was enjoying just expressing my personality. I was enjoying expressing my humor, my thoughts. I'm to be very honest with you. Like I know that now we have all these tools and things on social media. Like there's ways that you can track your own progress and all of that. And I have to say, I'm pretty bored of watching people dance in front of their phones. Because having 1 minute content is pretty much saying that we're all playing into this idea that nobody has an attention span for more than 60 seconds. To me, that's very dangerous. That's I see it, and I'm victim of this too. If you don't grab my attention in the first 3 seconds, 4 seconds, I'm likely to move on, and that's really unfair, right? That's a very unfair pressure to put on anyone that they have to have grabbed you then, because where do we stop? That like half a second and you haven't got my attention. So I find that. Content, I would say 90% of the content I watch, I'm just appalled at. But there are some wonderful things that I've seen on it. I think there's some mental health pages that I just love to follow. There's so much awareness to be gained. There's also there's fun to be had. What has started to bore me is this whole like I gotta grab your attention right now. And we're all victims to it. I mean, we're all doing it. We're all watching it. There's no real acting. I mean, everyone's just imitating each other, I think, at this point. I would love to, like, when I come across a content, someone who's actually authentically putting their voice out, that's more interesting to me.
So, how was your experience playing this role, Anita, and What the Folks?
How was my experience? The experience continues, I mean, I'm never going to stop being that character. It's when this show came to me, I think we were one of the first web series that kind of happened, and so it came to me on the tails of like this big blockbuster film, and I just I had some free time, so I said, yeah, it sounds interesting. It was an interesting character for me because it was probably the first actual feminist character that was on screen. I mean, in popular media. I can't say first ever because can't claim that I've seen everything. But now, you see that every woman is kind of just created that way because it's the popular narrative, which is a good thing. But Anita was exciting to me because she was older than her husband. She was more successful than him. There were lots of things that, of course, we had this character was there on script, but it was a very exciting time for me because I think like we created her, and we created what I think was a very special character. It was someone who was so nonchalant about, like, she wasn't fighting with anyone for what she wanted. It was just like, there's nothing wrong with this. I don't need to apologize to you. So I think that the strength that that character had has actually inspired a lot of people, a lot of women. I sometimes get DMs even from some lot of guys that are like, I want to marry you, not you like Isha, but you as Anita. So I think that the show has been very nice that way for just it's had a positive impact on the audience because we don't take ourselves too seriously. We say what we believe in, and we don't slap you in the face with it. We just put out our genuine beliefs out there in a gentle, soft manner that is easy to digest. So, how was the experience? It was very, very exciting because I knew that even if it's in a small way, I knew I was part of something that was actually getting created. This was genuine creativity. This wasn't. This was somewhere where I put out the kind of woman that I want to be. So I really enjoyed Anita, and she's never going to go away. So the experience kind of continues some level.
So how do you handle criticism around you know progressive characters like that? And, how do you sketch characters so that your audience take it lightly? If, for example, the first time I saw your profile, I scrolled through your Instagram. It's always been a feel good factor. I have not seen any content where it was like there was no positivity, or positivity was missing. So how do you do that? How do you create content where anything you scroll, you keep scrolling, you can't pinpoint that इसमें ये कमी है.
I'm not actually sure I understand the question. If you're saying that how do I create content that I know the audience will like, I think that's. I think you've died as an artist at that point. If you start creating content for an audience, I think the right way to look at this is that how do you create an audience for what your content is? I don't want to. If it's like saying that here's what you want, and here's me giving this to you. Where's our growth as an audience or as creators or anything? But if I have something new to say and I find a way to create an audience, then I think that then I would be proud of myself for what I've done. So I think the answer doesn't lie in creating content for an audience, but it's about creating an audience for the content. I didn't know that I was an audience for certain things that I love to watch now. I would have never considered myself an audience until somebody found a way to reach me. You know, so I would so that yeah, that's my answer to that. And as far as positivity is concerned, I don't concern myself with positivity actually, because I think that's whether that's your personality or not, or that's your voice or not. I think positivity can be extremely toxic also. I find that how is everyone so happy on Instagram? How? I mean, and it just I feel like now so many people are out there. They're just most conversations with people feeling bad about themselves starts with something that they saw on social media. Someone whose life was better than theirs, or somebody whose relationship was better than theirs, or someone who seemed more successful. I don't have perfect days. I don't have great days. I don't have, sometimes in a day I can go through many moods. I'm not uploading that on social media because why should I? Why would I want to do that? Why would I want anyone to have that much access to me? But I put up the things that I want people to see. We don't take pictures of things that we don't want to remember. So when you put out all this positivity, I think that we're doing a little bit of a disservice because people should see life as it is, because I don't know if it's really helping people to see so much positivity, honestly. So I would say that you've got a story to tell, and that story has um, a general, viewpoint on life, and which is positive, then go for it. You got to keep going with that lens. But or if you think that your content, something, your reels, your videos, or whatever you're putting out on social media is because you want to actually put out that, then that's fine. But if it's like, hey, look at my vacation, or hey, look at my new clothes, or hey, look at my boyfriend, I don't know who that helps, honestly.
Very, very thought-provoking sentence. How can everybody be happy? That's a good point, Isha. So, yeah. I'll look at social media in a different way after hearing to this particular sentence. share.
I don't actually think I've said anything very original. I mean, I think we all know this, right? We all know that rationally, we all understand that nobody's life is perfect. You know, so we have the biggest superstar in our country probably went through what was probably just the most horrendous time for him and his family recently. So I think it's safe to say that this is life is not meant to be perfect. That's not the purpose of life either. So I think if I ever became a full-time content creator, it would be more about getting people to accept life as is and see the beauty in it rather than just tell them that it's happy and it's meant to be that way.
So, Isha, what's your take on content creation and influencing?
What is my take on content creation?
Creation and influencing people.
You'd have to be more specific with that question.
Yeah. So, there are people who are creating content, might not have value or might not be influencing others, but there are contents which are also influencing. And there are people who are like very influential where, they say anything, people, go for it. They really get inspired, do things. It can be Swachh Bharat, it can be any initiative, but they're very influential in whatever they're doing.
Sure. So what's the question?
Your take, your take on what's your priority or what's your take on content creation? Because this, these sessions are more for micro influencers and nano influencers who are,
Yeah.
aspiring to become good influencers. So,
Yeah.
what should they prioritize on?
So I think that I feel, and this is my value as a person, these are my values, that I think that authenticity is the most important thing. It's sort of like when people say that I'm on this diet, and I'm like trying to lose weight and this is happening and that's happening. And you'll find that like they suddenly lose a massive amount of weight and then it comes right back because it's not sustainable. It's not, it's not something that you can actually do for very long. So I think that not being yourself is not something you can do for very long. So my sort of content got created because I don't really lie about who I am. And that doesn't mean that you can't create things. I mean, we're storytellers after all, right? But I think as long as you're doing, then at least you'll always be yourself, right? So whatever you put out will be some version of that. I've tried many things on social media that have not worked also, you know, um, and they're not supposed to. Everything you do is not going to be good, or everything you do might be good and it may not actually speak to a person. But it's important to experiment. I think it's important to grow. What happens very often is that they're like, oh, there's a trend going on. So ye gana chal raha hai. Everyone use this Doja Cat song or whatever. So now everyone's doing it. And it's trending, but I mean, most of the time I'm just getting a little bit bored of trends. And sometimes I actually feel like my content may have come a little bit on hold because I don't know what's different now. So I think that if you can think more originally and take your time and not fall into the traps and that anxiety that social media puts, right? Like, you see an Instagram cleanup and there'll be a bot cleanup. And suddenly everyone's losing followers. It's happening for the last few months. Everyone's talking about maybe following Gilby and maybe following Gilby. And it's creating so much anxiety with people. It's also a way I feel, and I mean, I might be wrong. I'm not quantifying this or anything, but I think it's also a way of just creating anxiety in people so they start creating more stuff so that they don't get off their phones. So I feel like it's really important to go and like live your life and do interesting things that you can document. So I'd say my take on it is that if you want to make it a profession, treat it like a profession. People work 8 hours a day at that profession. They don't do it all the time. Maybe you can't do it 9 to 5. Maybe the really interesting thing that's happening is happening at 11 o'clock at night. But I think it's really important to make sure that you have real life and you don't believe that this is real life. This is a phone. This is a phone. This is a bunch of people that are actually creating things that look sort of realistic but are not. So I think it's just very important as a creator to know that this is who I am and this is who I am on Instagram. This is my handle. So my take is that just be real, be honest, be authentic, and also improve your craft. There's some people out there, their videos are getting better and better. Like there's a style influencer that I follow, I don't like her style. I don't like her clothes that she puts out there. But I think her videos are great. You know, so I would say that work on your craft, but keep working on yourself also as a person, because this medium is for you to put out as you. It's not your company representation, of course, unless unless you've got a company account or something. But the idea of this video is what? It's a vertical screen that's capturing 2/3 of your body, and what's happening around you is still all happening around you. So I'd say that the most important thing is to keep that as a priority. Just keep working on yourself, keep growing, and then this is a craft. Work on it as a craft.
So we also have some comments and compliments coming in, Isha. So Pallavi Raj is saying very inspiring.
Thank you.
Ashley Raj is saying eagerly waiting for your day 3 surf lessons. Please post soon. Your audience is waiting. So I've seen a post of you surfing, learning to surf. So
Yes, actually, I've been busy all day, so I haven't done it. So I think why I haven't posted my day 3 of my surf lesson so far is because, again, you post something and then, there's a flurry of likes and this and that and checking. And I had some very important meetings today, so I didn't want to be distracted. So I will be, Ashi is the name? Yeah, I will be posting day 3, but now that I have some time and a little bit of headspace, I'm going to do that.
how did you choose, acting as your profession? What triggered?
Oh, I actually started acting, I started doing theater when I was very young. Like I was on stage when I was 6 or 7, but it was never something I cared to do professionally. I always, I was an artist. I went to art school. I went to design school. So I was like a painter and a drawer. Um, so I've been very clear that that is my purpose in this life, is to kind of create art of some kind. But I think the medium changes. So when I was in college, I was in art school in New York, and I started watching films. And I never really watched films. Like I used to go watch films on a Sunday with my family. Um, but I think that it started with just sort of enjoying filmmaking as a medium. Got exposed to a lot of great films while I was in New York, and I started writing, and then I started acting. It's happened like that. It's a tough journey, though. I won't lie. It's a tough journey for anyone.
So Isha, a lot of influencers who are joining this particular program are curious to know what works to become a great content creator to increase the number of followers. And the second thing is, how do we get this monetized? So what's your take on this? What are your suggestions on these two?
Well, see, again, like I said, I was pretty lucky in the sense that I had a following that was built on being an actor, and then I was also involved. Like we had agencies that handle these things for us. But I would say that. So how I'll give you an example. I'm not a travel blogger per se, right? And I just realized that this is something that during COVID, I realized it's something I want to do. I realized that I wasn't traveling enough. I think we all did. So I just sort of reached out to some people and I agreed to do free work for them. That I was like, I'll do this for a barter. Like maybe I can say. And I got those opportunities, and then again, I just made good content for them, and then people started to reach out to me and have it monetized. The truth is that nothing is going to get monetized until you've actually shown some samples of what you can do, right? Why would I give you money until I've seen that what you have done can actually give me some money back? I need to make money based on what you create, right? So how to monetize is quite simple. I'd say that you hone in on what you want to do. So if you want to be a travel influencer, do that. If you want to be a food influencer, do that. If you want to be a style influencer, do that. Create content for yourself. So create content out of your own clothes. Create content out of like just the food that you're buying by yourself. Make interesting content. Do something with your craft. Or when the next time you travel, find a way to make that interesting. How you document it, and then send it to people and say that, hi, this is something I can do. Would you like me to do this for you? So this is, I think, how things build. Honestly, I think this is one of those few professions where I feel like once you have it in place, you get a lot back financially for what you're actually putting in. I mean, if I tell you like how much work I put in as an actor or as a writer and how much I get paid in return, the return on investment is nothing like what I get on social media. I mean, I'm not saying I make more money on social media necessarily, but for the amount I'm putting in and what I'm getting back, it's one of those actual professions that can just get spun. It can actually just sort of turn around. So, but you have to be willing to do free work for a while, I think, before you do that. So, how to monetize? Eyes on the prize. Decide what it is that you want and start making content that's geared there, and then start sending it to people and reach out to people. There's no shame in that. I reach out to people. I just write to them on my DMs and I say, "Hi, would you like to work together?" And people do that with me. That's how things start. But I'd say that your content from before you start getting paid, create the content that you want to get paid for. So if it's travel, then you can go on a walk and make a really interesting video about it and let people see it. I think people now just, they're like, this seems like something that's like easy, so they want to do it. But the people who do really well at it, they're not doing it easily. Like, yeah, it's easy to post, but is it easy to write well or to like put a lens out there that's interesting, to have a point of view that's different. So I'd say that do that, like know what you want to actually end up as with this. If it's food, even if you go to Pizza Hut, do a little review, do a video of that. If you go to KFC or if you go to a fancy restaurant, do it. And then the next time a restaurant opens and you hear about it, reach out to them and let them know that like, here are some things I can do. Would you like to work together? But I would say that work on the content um, geared towards that.
So my last question, Asia, would be, we're running out of time, but last question would be, you know, what the fun, how should we prioritize having fun at the same time while creating content, and how important is it? Do you think the contents, all the influencers are posting should be pretty serious, or there should be some fun element?
I think that question is actually a bit of a misnomer, right? Because everything you do, you're doing it because it's fun for you. If you're watching a serious film, it's because you find it fun. If you're having so I don't think, firstly, I don't think serious and fun are the opposite of each other. I'm here on this chat because I thought it'd be fun. There's nothing I do in my life that I'm doing because unless I think it's going to make me happy. If I'm even doing a job that pays me money, it's because that money is going to make me happy. So I think you can be serious about having fun, but I don't. I'm not interested in anything if I have not seen that the person's. I can tell, I mean, we all can tell when the person has had fun making something. There's inspired action, and then there's a lot of dull stuff out there. So I think there's a lot of content out there that's just people that need to stay consistent, and when someone's doing that. So hey, if you want to have something serious to say that, but have fun while you do it.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Isha, for joining us on Influencer Talk. So more content, more sessions to come for budding influencers, people who want to get inspired and aspire to become an influencer. So stay tuned. We have a lot of sessions until tomorrow evening. All the best, Isha.
Thank you. Good luck.
I'm a new follower, but I love the content, so I'll continue to follow. And I'll not miss the day 3 session of surfing lessons. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, friends.